Good morning, everyone.
My name is Javier.
My name is Sergio.
My name is Ronaldo.
My name is Aaron, and today's podcast we'll be talking about the topic of cap and trade.
Cap and trade is about how the world is gonna improve the CO2 emission, and what the leaders of the world have come to a conclusion is a system called cap and trade, which revolves around creating a market around CO2 emission between businesses. And in turn is very efficient for businesses to lower their CO2 emission, but is it really effective?
Sorry to cut you off, but is cap and trade effective, yes or no? Well, let's take this in terms of the environment. Obviously, back in the 70s, 60s, black air everywhere. So they thought, we got to do this Clean Air Act. We have an interview, actually,
with an environmentalist that we did earlier today. So let's cut to that right now.
Yes, we'll be back.
Alright, everybody. Fire on News here. And it looks like a environmentalist is doing something with these plants here. Let's see what he has to say with for cap and trade, right? See me, sir. You have a minute to a interview? Hello.
Yes, sir. Nice to meet you.
Alright, so what is your perspective on cap and trade?
Well, let me introduce myself real quick. I'm an environmentalist for California Republic Emission Safety. As we see here, this rust is coming from acid rain, too much pollution in the air. Basically, I see cap and trade as a good thing, but it needs to be better because polar ice caps are still melting. Pollution hasn't got any better, but yeah. So it's taking carbon tons from one area, moving it to another. I mean, it's pretty good, but it's not really regulating it. So it leads to more corrupt in business owners. I believe so.
That seems interesting, man.
Look at these plants. Do they look healthy to you?
I mean, it seems healthy to me, so...
Well, they should be rich green. This is like dry green,
I don't know about that, man.
But, yeah. So that's my point of view.
Well, thanks for your time. Have a good day, sir.
You're welcome.
Alright, guys. We have it here for today, folks. This is Fire On Channel, signing out.
Welcome back, guys. T of America. Hope you enjoyed that video of that interview with the environmentalist. Great guy, by the way. Know him like this. Anyways, so from watching that video, we can tell that some areas are more affected than others. So in terms of companies, some companies produce less CO2 and some produce more. Obviously, the ones that produce more can't figure out how to, retain their CO2 levels. So when you sell CO2 stock to another company, and typically it's in a poor area because they can't afford as much to change their way of producing CO2. It's focused into one area, and this increases levels of lung cancer or asthma. So and especially like agriculture in certain areas are more effective, not as nutritional and not as green, as he said, not as what's the word? I can't think about it right now. Sorry, guys, but yeah, that's how I view it. What do you guys think?
To add on, I feel like it's not just the selling in poor areas. I feel like it's just everyone all together. I feel like the bigger the business, obviously, the more CO2 they'll produce. So the more caps, the more stock they'll try to buy, which is good in some turn because they're basically spending their own money to emit the CO2, but it's not good because they could buy basically an infinite fund because they could offer money to smaller companies that would probably take the money since they're smaller, and then they could take those funds and put even more CO2 into the environment.
And also, CO2, the more CO2 produced, the more it'll go into the atmosphere, which is going to create more global warming, and that is the main reason why cap and trade was made in the first place. So, pretty sure that's why.
I mean, a huge example you can see is in the polar ice caps starting to melt. A lot of animals Huh?
What was that one movie? The Penguin.
Happy Feet.
Yeah, Happy
Happy
Feet.
Feet.
Yeah,
See,
they
there's
can't
a
live like that
connection
anymore,
right
man.
there. Connection.
They can't live like that anymore.
Wait, Sergio, wasn't that environmentalist your cousin? Like,
Yeah, he looked kind of familiar.
Yeah, he is. He's very biased about how he views cap and trade.
Isn't he part of an interest group?
Yeah.
Isn't he like connected with the oil companies? And he
I
works for
mean,
them?
he tells me a lot about that stuff. Yeah.
So do you think he probably had a biased perspective when he said that it's a good thing for the environment?
I mean, why would he say that?
Well, it's because most people, most interest groups, they influence people to believe that that the thing that they're doing is good for the whatever they want, their intended goal, thereby leading Congress to push these regulations, and therefore leading to the bureaucracy to entitledly like.
So you're trying to say like funds to get more funds,
Yeah,
or
they create like this form of triangle, the iron triangle, and then in turn it leads to corruption between the government and the misinformation between the people.
Oh, okay. So okay. Well, I see where you're going with this. I mean, hey.
You should check him. You should put him in check.
Yeah, you should. You guys look alike.
Yeah.
But anyways, guys, we have a short break here, and here's a video from our sponsors.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Hello, I'm Ronaldo Tadeo, and I'm going to be running for the House for 2020. I don't really like President Trump's perspective on the cap and trade, as he doesn't really believe in global warming. So cap and trade, I feel as it's an ineffective way to lower greenhouse emission. And if you vote for me, not only will I make a way to lower the greenhouse emission effectively, but also lower gas prices. So vote for me, 2020.
Now back to our show.
And we're back from that sponsor, that commercial break, whatever you want to call it.
Hey, Ronaldo, wasn't that your cousin? He looked kind of familiar.
I think so.
He's a congressman, right? Trying to get into
up and coming.
Yep.
Is he for or against cap and trade?
He's against cap and trade.
So do you think that people like Sergio's cousin would try to influence him too, or what?
Well, I feel like he's still new, so I think he's easily influenced by people like Sergio's cousin. And there's a big chance that he might actually turn perspectives to try to get people on his side to vote for him.
Do you think he could go corrupt?
Congress just revolves around the idea of corruption and influence between other interest groups and trying to lobby Republicans and Democrats. So I feel like
he is.
Yeah, I feel like he is.
Is he more of a conservative or a liberal? Because I feel like that plays a big role as well.
I feel like he's more of a liberal, but I don't know. You can't really trust him because they could switch sides depending on, because Congress is really more about trying to get the people on your side. So you have to like do whatever you need to do to try to get people on your side. So if it means changing perspectives, then it means changing perspectives.
So all I'm hearing from this is money signs.
Exactly, yeah.
Yep.
This is man.
Basically, everyone trying to get the most money they can out of
cap and trade.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a benefit, sort of. You obviously use some of that money to help support new businesses, but that also creates more CO2 in the air.
And how much of that money do you think is really going to trying to stop CO2?
Well, I don't know, but we'll be back. We have another interview with a rich billionaire, so hope you guys enjoy. Yo guys, this is the Tea of America. My name is Sergio Villapando. We're out here in the beautiful streets of LA, and today we're going to be asking some businessmen if they are for or against cap and trade. Follow me. Seems here we have a wealthy man. Let's ask him. Excuse me, sir. Sir? Excuse me, sir.
Hello? What? I can't hear, bro.
Oh, okay. Well, we are the Tea of America. Can we ask you some questions?
Sure, I guess.
All right. Explain a little bit about yourself.
So, I'm Pablo Escobar. I'm a multi-millionaire, billionaire.
Oh, okay.
You know, making fat stacks every day.
Sir, our I mean, our white powder refinery has made the shipment.
Oh, thank you. Anyways, you were saying?
Are you for or against cap and trade?
Oh, I'm for it.
Why?
You know, here, walk. So, you know, cap and trade, you know, big business. I'm a multi-billionaire, you know. These trees, you see these trees? I don't really care about them. They don't do anything for me apart from provide money for me. That's all they do. You know the same money comes from trees? Oh, that's true. Because that's where it comes from. Anyways, you know, voting for cap and trade, yes, it allows me to corrupt my business even more, which means in turn I make more money.
Well, that's one heck of a view.
Yes, sir.
So, in overall terms, are you going to vote for it or against cap and trade?
For it, so I can make even more money.
All right, guys, there you have it. Let's get on out of here. This is the Tea of America. That guy kind of scares me. Let's go.
And we're back. That was very, very, very interesting. I did not expect that from a businessman from LA. So
Yeah, he didn't care.
yeah, like I don't know what he was doing. He was just like,
Yeah. I mean, he was a wild one. Hold up. Isn't that your cousin?
He kind of like you, man.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, he is my cousin. I don't really like to claim him as one of my families because you guys see how he lashed out.
Yeah, he don't like trees.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You like that money, though.
Yeah, he does love his money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, what do you guys think about how businessmen and women think about cap and trade and what like they want from it?
I just feel like they just want to get as much amount of money they can without having to spend any more than they have to.
Being greedy as possible.
I have a question, though. Do you guys think there's a good amount of corruption in cap and trade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like not just from the government or anything. I feel like just from the business owners too, since I feel like they would probably commit fraud or something, like according to that document you showed us.
We do have an article right here. Do you have the article?
Right here. The article by scrapthetrade.com. It says that in the EU there was a raid on 21 offices or.
Wow, that's a lot.
That's wow.
The British tax authorities have actually arrested 21 people after raiding their homes and offices across Europe because of alleged carbon taxing fraud. It's kind of similar to the idea earlier we're talking about how the idea of the Iron Triangle and how the bureaucracy doesn't really enforce their regulation on the business owners, which leads to like this type of fraud and a loose control over the business owners and their CO2 emissions.
Yeah, which in turn, like I said, makes them more money because like that they're committing fraud. Basically, I feel like they. Like the stocks they sell, they would say that they'd have more than they actually had, and they were just releasing more CO2 into the environment than they actually could.
So that's why your cousin doesn't like trees, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, to end that, guys, that's enough time for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this quick podcast. I hope y'all have a great day. We'll see y'all all next one.
Yup, this is the Tea of America. The question is cap and trade good? I mean, it does have a good, like, it is good, but just like everything that's good, there's a bad side to it. So we'll let y'all decide on that. Y'all have a good one.